So where do we go from here? What are your new initiatives that you're looking at? What do you see? Where do you see yourselves going from here on it?
Hybrid is challenging. To me, it really comes down to what level of engagement are you looking to create, right? And to me, that should be equal, whether you're in-person audience versus remote audience. Your ability to communicate with the presenters, submit QA polling, or even somehow to some degree interact between audiences is critical, right? I don't believe that we're gonna see a shift ever back to full on in-person large audience or complete virtual, right? There's pros and cons to each. I strongly believe that a virtual element will be attached to any type of event or experience, unless it's some super top secret, CEO meeting. But when it comes to events, when it comes to experiences, there will always be a virtual part to it. It's just trying to figure out that engagement piece, which is, I think, the most challenging. When it comes to signal acquisition, and you have to bring in a remote speaker with a in-person panel, I think we're all clever enough to figure that out. There's so much gear and ways to do that at this point. That's not the hard part, right? You mix the traditional broadcasters of the world with the IP broadcasters of the world now, and you can get anything done. You can get a signal from A to Z, no problem, right? I don't believe that software encoding or studios here. I mean, I'll give you a quick glance of the life I live every day, right? If NDI wants to, this is me, right? I'm a vMix shop. We have multiple remote studios like this at homes. They're redundant internet. We got Cisco switches. It's the whole nine. We treat it like it's a facility, right? It actually is. But this type of stuff gives us the capability to be rapid and adaptive to any type of event or any type of situation. And it doesn't mean that we can't partner with a huge studio based out of New York or London and do a mix and match of whatever the production requires, right? Just right now, like you'll see a Zoom session on the side. That's our green room, and there's a live event happening right now. And I'm pulling an SRT from my partner and sending that out as a backup or a Bravo, right? And I also have a recording going. And if he goes down, I can just flip to my instance of the show, and the audience has no idea, right? So there's a space for all of this stuff. It's really going to come down to you understanding your client and you understanding what that production needs. Of course, you can't do this for everything, right? This is the top shelf stuff, if you will. But this methodology just needs to be ironed out for your environment, for your organization.
Do everything over the network now? Have you totally gotten rid of like SDI and connections like that? You use NDI and SRT to.
NDI is great. It has its place, definitely. But if I could choose SDI over NDI, I would. We have physical locations, physical studios across key offices, and we still use those, right? And we might use that because we have a group of speakers that are present in that office that day and they want to come in from there. So we'll have, switching coming off from that end, bringing a signal into here. We're mixing it with remote speakers, right? And they can all see and hear each other, and the audience sees a nice mixed show. So it's art. It really is. It really is art, how we put these things together and what we present to the audience.
How about you, Dan?
Well, I like the idea of the sort of thinking more about the quality of the audience piece, something we struggled with before. Often if you talk about an external show, our largest one these days, it's Talent Connect. Used to be a number of cameras pointed to a stage, and you just kind of got what you got. We uploaded that before COVID by having a dedicated studio that had content just for the audience. And now that often most of our audience is going to be remote, right? Sometimes there's smaller, more defined audiences, but most of the time your actual big numbers are remote. So there's a lot of work that goes into on-site in terms of creating engagement and allowing interaction of people there. But what we try to do, and we have our stream team, so Chris, who asked the question, is responsible for making sure that not only the acquisition of the stream, but also the distribution is right. He's got a lot of tools. He's got all the tools for acquisition on the StreamYard side and Restream and others, but he's also got tools with should it be on LinkedIn Live? Should it be on Yammer? Should it be on YouTube? Should it where should it be? And thinking about that audience, that's always been my mantra is respect, I think is the word I like to use, respect the audience. How would you step into the event? Is there 10 pages of registration that you have to do? Is there no way to communicate? Is there no recording? Is there no follow-up? Like all those pieces that we all knew was a thing has now become an expected normal. So that's one of the advantages of this fast forward, this speed up that happened with COVID, bringing technology that might have taken, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years to come up. Now we that's all fast forwarded. And so we have those options. So it's a lot of choice, but trusting people who are watching this and are on this panel to actually make the key decisions to choose it.